I'm Rowena, and this is FYI with Rowena. I love to talk to everyday people, people who will empower, inspire, educate, and entertain you. And I have the perfect person. My first guest today is a stage illusionist, celebrity magician, comedian, actor, and a host. I first saw him on America's Got Talent, and he blew me away. He lives and works here in Las Vegas, performing regularly at Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino. Maurice Sawchuck may be better known as celebrity magician Maurice Sawchuck. Welcome.
How are you?
Great.
Thanks for having me on your show.
I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you can make it.
I love your set. This looks beautiful. This is nice.
Isn't it?
Like the
It's
logo.
amazing.
Very beautiful.
Yes.
Very nice. Thanks for having me.
So I'm going to ask you something that a lot of people may or may not know about you. You're from Canada.
Yeah, originally Vancouver, Canada. I'm Canadian, so.
Wow.
And then February 13, 2009, I became an American citizen. So I'm a
Congratulations.
Canadian American now.
So you're basically local now.
I am. I'm very local. I've been here 15 years. So.
In Las Vegas?
Yeah, in Las Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time.
So prior to Las Vegas, where were you?
I was in Orlando, Florida for 5 years before that.
And you were doing magic
Shows and touring and
shows?
traveling and all that, and so yeah. So, but as the age of 23 or 19, I started touring the world. So I did about 18 years around the world, from Brussels to France to all over the world. And then in Orlando was nice because it's got a great airport because you can fly to Europe pretty quickly. It's right there, and then of course moved here for the shows. So it's been good. Yeah.
Awesome. So was this always your? Did you always want to be a magician? And how old were you when you decided to be a magician?
Well, when I grew up, I watched entertainers on TV like anyone does, and I wanted to do anything to avoid school. So I thought magic's the idea. And I got a magic kit when I was like 7, 8 years old, and I kept doing it. I had 19 jobs before making magic full-time between the age of 12 and 19, from delivering papers to fixing bikes, telemarketing, pumping gas, you name it, flipping burgers and fish and chips and all that stuff. So I've done everything, up into, because it was always to fund my magic as a kid, because it's not cheap. And I started doing birthday parties and all that stuff. So it's kind of fun, But I was a lifeguard throughout my teens, and when you go to a rec center, they have those ads on the wall, like a garage sale and people selling. So at the time, there was a Commodore 64 out, the first computer, which dates me, but I would make ads and I'd put them against the wall. So when I went for my swim lessons, I'd put ads for birthday parties, doing magic shows for $50 a party.
Wow.
And they could rip off my phone number and call me. And believe it or not, I'd get 2 or 4 or 5 birthday parties a weekend when I was 12, 13 years old. And my dad would drive me, so I was making $300-400 a weekend just doing kids' parties. So
when you were a
that's how it all
teenager?
started. Well, not, yeah, just
Amazing.
12, 13, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You're very talented. And another place that you performed at was at Monday's Dark during my foundation's event.
That's right.
And you just blew everybody away with that card magic that you do.
With
it's
the bottle, yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, Monday's Dark is a great charity, organization in the sense of helping charities every month, and that I love what Mark's doing in that. So
Yes,
yeah,
I'm going to have him here soon too.
Good, I love Mark. He's doing a lot of new things. He's doing really well.
And
Yeah.
I'm very happy for him.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, when you decided to be a magician, how did your parents react to that?
They passed out, and then when they came to, they realized they couldn't change much. My dad worked in the railway all his life, and he also worked for the Vancouver Canucks in the evenings. He had 2 jobs, and he worked both of them. The railway for 37 years, and then he worked for the Vancouver Canucks for 35 years. And so we worked all his life on the railway, and all my family worked for the railway. And I was the only black sheep in the family that kind of did something entertainment-wise. My dad always did entertainment. He cut a record when he was younger. He played all musical instruments, but his dad always said, if you want to raise a good family and have a good lifestyle with a retirement plan and everything back in the day when everything did balance with the economy, that he didn't go into that, whereas I wanted to do what I enjoy doing. And so I did. They always supported it. But Dad, up until the day he left us, he was like, well, you know what? There's always that job at the railway, get a pension plan. You can't. I'm like, Dad, I'm good. I think we're good now.
That's the old school.
Of course it is. Yes. He did very well by it. He lived in an era, he worked for the railway from the 50s to the 80s when the retirement and the inflation and living expenses all worked equally. Now it's impossible. I don't know how kids can afford a house nowadays on the salaries people pay.
It's incredible. I mean, everything is just sky high nowadays.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But back in the day, he did well.
So what has been your surreal moment during your whole career?
I don't know. I've had surreal moments all my life, you know. And people always say, "What was your big break?" I think it's little breaks here and there. I mean, I think your fans or people watching you, they define what your big break is, because that's when they became known to you. You know, a lot of people say it was America's Got Talent when I was on. A lot of people say it was Reno 911 when I was on Comedy Central. You know, a lot of people, various different things. You know, this recent big break of mine over the last 5 months has been on YouTube. You know, we just hit over 300 million views. Of my magic
Amazing!
in 5
Wow!
months.
Congratulations!
So cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a big thing, you know. So everyone has their defining moments. I mean, there was those moments where I was backstage working with Alice Cooper. And we're standing with Alice Cooper, and it was Sebastian Bach, and it was Johnny Depp, and we're all standing back there. And there was that one moment where I stood there going, I have no idea how I got hanging out with these guys backstage, and we're all doing a show together. You know, this little kid from Vancouver, Canada. So you do have those moments where you do step outside yourself, and you go, I have no idea how I ended up exactly right here. You know, so it's cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Murray, when you're not entertaining, what would you like the viewers to know about you?
Me, I'm the opposite of most people's, what they see when I walk on a red carpet. You know, if you were to come to my house, I'm either in a robe, you know, my boxer shorts with my 2 dogs, reading a newspaper, you know, or I'm in the garage with a baseball cap on, ripped jeans, working on one of my old cars, or in the backyard working on my yard. That's what I like doing. A lot of people do yoga or go hiking and that, but I love landscaping and working on my old cars.
Really?
That's really what I do. Yeah, most people don't know my history. When I grew up, I was in the rodeo for like 6-7 years, and we had a ranch and everything. That's really who I am. I love working on cars and all that stuff. But when you see me on a red carpet, you don't think I could even lift a hammer. So that's kind of my past. Yeah.
So there you go, a very humble man. He's very down to earth. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for
today.
having me. I'm honored to be on your show. This is exciting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good luck to your show.
Thank you very much.
And we want to see it one of these days.
You are always a guest.
Oh, thank you so much.
I love doing predictions and different things, so on the way in, I went to a toy store, and I bought some Matchbox toys, regular toy cars just here. And anyone ever have these? Yeah! Perfect. Just the middle section. Good, all right. Can you help me, young man? All right, I got, you can stand up, sure. You want to feel like you want to stand up?
Yeah.
Oh, you're tall. Sit down. No, I'm just kidding. So I got a Porsche here, I got a speedboat, I got a white Jeep, and I have a green tractor, all right? Do you drive yet?
No.
How old are you?
17.
7. What is it? 16, 17?
I'm too late.
Grow up, man. All right, so if you're to drive a car and you want to get one, you're going to have your first car, right? 16. Which one do you want?
Jeep.
You want the Jeep?
myself.
Nice. Hang on to that, all right?
Yeah.
Watch carefully. If this doesn't work, it's your fault, all right? Sit down. Watch carefully. Let's go, guys. Here we go. Thank you. Let's go. Tight. Go! Is that your car? Is that the one? High five. High five, man. High five. Yes, yes. Yes. Thank you. Enjoy the Jeep.
My next guest is a very busy man. He does so much for our veterans in the community, and I am in awe of the work that he does. I am so happy he can join us today. Dr. Stokes, welcome.
Hi. Good
How are
morning.
you?
I'm amazing. Thank you.
You are
And
just
how are you?
very good.
Great.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're just amazing. You help a lot of people. Tell us about the veterans that you help in your office.
Well, we do have a number of veterans, but in a lot of cases, veterans don't have much access to dental care. Historically, what I've done is to provide some emergency dental care for some of these veterans, and we don't have a charge for that. But we've actually found some ways and encouraged them to get to the VA and explain their situations. And in a number of cases, they've really been able to get some help.
That's amazing. How is a patient, let's say I'm going to you for the first time, how are they introduced to your practice?
Well, we have a rather unique approach. It's more of a doctor-patient relationship. We try to reconstruct that because in today's world, we're getting kind of used to conveyor belt medicine and dentistry. You go in there, the first thing they ask you for is your insurance card and fill out these forms. The first thing when somebody comes to my office, we explain to them in advance. They're going to sit down with me for about 20 minutes. We're going to get to know each other a little bit. Let's see if we can develop that doctor-patient relationship, which we know is kind of disappeared. And so after we do that, and it's about 20 or 30 minutes, we sit down and I go through the standards and the principles of our office. And that's actually designed to do one thing. Because when somebody comes to a medical or dental practice the first time, one of the biggest things is the feeling of uncertainty. They don't know who you are. You don't know who they are.
Exactly, yes.
So if we can bring, and we know that uncertainty is the first step, the first stage of the stress response.
Yes.
Uncertainty, threat, and danger, that's stress. So if we can go ahead, and by what we do, we sit down for about 20 minutes, we go through something we call a trust contract. It explains,
yes, tell me about
it explains
the
the principles of our office. It shows the patient what they should really expect from me and what I expect from them. It's an agreement. So that they have to understand that I consider them the most important person in the world whenever I'm consulting and interacting with you. They also have to consider that I'm the #1 expert on their mouth. And so it's an interaction, and we both have to agree to these principles if we want to have a really good doctor-patient relationship.
Absolutely
and
true.
after that, if everything's good, then we'll offer them an exam. Everything's voluntary. There's no pressure. There's no persuasion in anything that we do. Everything has to be strictly voluntary. And in that agreement, it also states that I will provide them dental services if they want me to, as if they were members of my own immediate family.
Actually, that's a great quote that you have in your office. Tell me, why are there a lot of people, including myself, I had dentist phobia. I didn't want to go to a dental office. I was afraid. So how do you make a patient more comfortable?
Well, that's a really good question. And that is very common. We know that there's something, we talk about military and PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, but there's a PTSD associated with dentistry too.
Yes, I just found that out.
Post-traumatic stress disorder, where somebody, it's what they've heard, what they've felt, what somebody's told them, even historically the smell of a dental office can trigger that. And it sets up a stress response. And by the way we handle ourselves, and like I said, what we do is about 20 minutes, we sit and we talk, and it brings the stress level down. And when the stress level goes down, the trust level goes up. And when trust grows, then you have a really good avenue of communication. You can pretty much move along and get past that initial fear part and move on and actually help people be healthier.
When did you decide to be a dentist?
That's an interesting question, too.
Yes.
I decided that I wanted to be a dentist when I was 13 years old.
Wow.
Way back in junior high school. And somebody said, I think call it middle school now. I had a dentist that was really great. And I really respected his professionalism and the way he treated people. And I just thought it was kind of neat. So I decided I was going to do that. So everything I did after that was geared towards, going to college, getting accepted to dental school, all the way through. And that was like an express train of education. And I graduated in 1972, a long time ago. And I've been practicing dentistry for a long time, but I really enjoy it. And
that's amazing. That's a long career.
It is a long career. And I'm very fortunate because I'm healthy. I have friends that their health is waning, but I've learned how to take care of myself. Also,
you're very health conscious.
Nutrition-wise, I try to get exercise, but one of the most important things is to learn how to control that stress response. We know that when people are under stress, that their health can really go south, and that's what we really try to do to help them.
Doctor, what is the most important thing you want to convey to our viewers?
The most important thing to your viewers is what I do for my patients. I help them make good choices. And when somebody comes to sit down with me, what they'll learn is how to get the most out of a dental visit or out of a medical visit. What questions to ask? What kind of a relationship that they really should expect from a doctor or dentist? And if I can impart that with them in conjunction with providing them with their, the dental care that I would do for a family member, then I think that's a big lesson, and I think that's a real important point.
That's great. Thank you so much for everything that you do, and also the things that you do for our veterans, and thank you for being here. Now we have a better understanding of what dentists do and how they make patients more comfortable, thanks to you. And thank you very much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, and I
Such
look
a
forward to
pleasure.
seeing you again.
Thank you.
Okay?
Hello everyone, my name is Zia Khan. I am an interventional cardiologist here locally in Las Vegas. I've been tasked with giving you a very brief synopsis of heart disease and heart problems as they occur in the community. But I think the best way to start is maybe talk about a little bit of statistics about how important this disease really is in the big picture, and then talk about a little bit about the anatomy of the heart, and in the brief time try and give you an idea of the pathogenesis of heart problems. You may be surprised to know that 1 out of every 3 to 4 deaths in the United States is due to heart-related problems. About 610,000 deaths per year occur in the United States. This translates to every 42 seconds in the United States, someone is having a heart attack, and every minute someone is dying as a result of heart-related conditions. So what are the factors that lead to these horrible statistics, so much death and morbidity and mortality? Well, we've identified several risk factors for coronary artery disease. Some of these are very common, some of these are preventable, and some of them are not. The biggest factors are smoking, hypertension, high cholesterol. And it is the LDL portion of the cholesterol that is the biggest risk factor. In addition to that, a sedentary lifestyle, lack of exercise, and a genetic predisposition that you inherit from your parents to have coronary artery disease and congestive heart failure. Remember, all of these are preventable with intervention except the genetic portion, at least up to now. Before we go into details about the disease process themselves, which may occur at future episodes, let's talk about the anatomy of the heart. This is a typical heart, usually about this size or a little bigger in an average adult. It is covered up to about there with a pericardial sac, which is a membrane that surrounds the heart. If you see the surface of the heart, these are the coronary arteries. Blockage in these arteries is what causes heart attacks to occur. If I was to remove the heart cover and see it, dissect it out, this is the right atrium of the heart. This is the tricuspid valve, right ventricle, left atrium, mitral valve, left ventricle. These chambers do not usually communicate with each other unless there is a congenital abnormality. This is the mitral valve, which directs blood in one direction from the left atrium to the left ventricle. This is the tricuspid valve, which directs blood from the right atrium into the right ventricle. Blood from the left side always goes to the body. It comes into this chamber from the lungs, having received oxygen, etc., and comes in through this valve into the left ventricle and gets pumped through the great vessel called the aorta. This red vessel here is the aorta. On the right side, blood returned from the rest of the body, it's used up, it's low in oxygen. It reaches the right atrium, goes through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle, and gets pumped to the lungs for oxygenation, and then returns to the left side. So this is basically the inside of the heart. Remember, any of these structures, including the wall, the valves, etc., can develop disease. Coming to the surface, this is the leading problem that we have. You see these arteries and veins on the surface of the heart. They supply blood to the heart muscle itself. And they are the ones, if they get blocked, you get a heart attack. Enlarge this many, many times, and you see this represents a coronary artery. Nice and clean, no blockage, one cell layer. As you grow, fatty streaks appear, we go to develop more and more fatty streaks, and it thickens the loop in size and narrows the lumen. Finally, we have a condition in which you have a markedly narrowed lumen with lots of fat and cholesterol deposited. This is known as the plaque. And if this was to ever rupture or completely close, the result would be damage to the muscle of the heart and a heart attack. In the coming episodes, we'll talk more in detail about the pathophysiology of these issues and what we can do to prevent them. Until then, this is Zia Khan signing off.
My next guest is a legendary newscaster in Las Vegas. I am so excited to have him on the show. He's also one of my dearest friends. I've known him for so long, and he needs no introduction. He doesn't need any introduction. Mr. Ron Futrell.
Well, it's great to be here.
How are you?
No,
What's
I'm doing
going
well,
on?
and I love the set, love the show,
Isn't
and
it
everything
great?
looks
It's
great.
amazing.
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I can always count on you. But so tell me, what are you up to?
What am I up to? Everything. Okay. Right now, teaching. What I do like teaching sports broadcasting at UNLV. So I've got a class there right now that we're doing. We're starting a sports broadcasting program that they've never had before at UNLV. So that's exciting.
Wow.
Do that part time. Also doing part-time work at Channel 8 with special reports, sometimes
Yes.
sports reports, and different stories and different reports with them, which again, it's fun. I enjoy doing that because TV news
You're
is,
back to where you're comfortable.
that's my blood,
Yes,
that's in my background. I didn't know when I first went on there because it had been a few years since I'd read a prompter. So I got on set and I said, I don't know, can I read this prompter again? Can
Oh,
I?
you're such a
And
pro.
Well,
You
it worked out. I started and stammered my way through it, and I faked my way through it. Let me put it that way. So doing that, and then my full-time job is flying drones, mainly
Yeah, so
for
tell us about that.
yeah, mainly for TV news, but there's a lot of different applications. It's a company called Avisight, Avisight, like a bird,
Avisight,
aviary, with or aviation with a camera. So Avisight, and what we're doing is we're flying drones for a lot of different businesses. We have a contract with Metro. We're approaching a contract with the city of Las Vegas.
Very good.
With different public entities. We've flown for ABC Disney Corporation for TV news. We've flown for the Discovery Channel. What we do is you get great, cool shots at a lower price with a drone. And so that's what we're doing, and we're teaming with a bunch of guys who have flown them in the U.S. military. And I know the military is very near and dear to your
yes,
heart
it is.
with
Yes,
some of
it
the
is.
efforts that we've combined on over the years.
You've worked with me on different
yes.
things, yes.
So with the U.S. military guys out there making it happen, doing some things, and retired military that have flown drones for decades in the military, now are taking this expertise here in Nevada and using it for, I'll say using it for whatever you can think that a drone could be used for. We're going to use it for.
That's awesome.
It's legal and allowed by the FAA, and so yeah, having some fun with that.
That's amazing because the last time I think we saw each other, you were doing the
Football jerseys. You were
football
acting
jersey.
like a
Yes,
football, acting like a football person there, sort of.
You were
wasn't
like
she?
a
Yes.
national. You were the national marketing director.
What we
or
were doing was we were purchasing. We had contracts with 15 NFL teams. Now, as I say that just sounds. We had contracts with 15 NFL teams. That's a pretty
Wow,
big deal.
that's big.
To buy their game-worn merchandise, the stuff that they wore on the field, the footballs that they used, and we would buy them from the teams and then sell them to fans, to sports bars, to different
or donate
entities.
them to different charities.
We did donate a few to charities. Certainly did that.
Yes,
And so we had that. And by the way, they wouldn't wash them. They would be stinky, smelly, sweaty, dirty. That's where they wanted
That's
them.
what I would do. I would
Yeah,
watch
if you wanted it, you wanted it to be like it was. Now you can take
Exactly.
and wash it later if you want.
Exactly.
But they liked having the stains on them, and so, from the field, from the battlefield, if you will. So yes, did that. That was fun. That was fun, as well as with Avisight. Both are fun, enjoyable things. I've been just playing my lifetime. I've been having fun jobs and enjoying them.
I know you're always. Every time I talk to you, it's always like easy and fun. You're just an amazing friend. And so,
you.
know,
Likewise.
you've been in the news for so long here in town. You're like an institution. How did
Or
you?
it should be institutionalized. One or the other, for me. Is that what you meant? Is that one
well,
or the other?
you know,
Okay.
it can go both ways too. But you're like an institution in Las Vegas. So how did you, from that being in the news industry for so long, transitioning into these other things that you do?
Well, good question. And I like to think that being here doing sports for so long has helped me with my post-TV news career, if you will. I got to do sports here at a time when there was a lot going on here, sports-wise.
Yes.
And not to discredit what's happening now with sports, there's some pretty good energy happening now.
That was when you were a teenager, right?
When I was,
Yeah.
so I started when I was about 14. But I got to be here when the Rebels won the national championship in college basketball. That by itself was a pretty big deal for this city.
Wow.
Also the rise of NASCAR here in Las Vegas with the building of the Speedway, the career of Mike Tyson from start to finish, the great middleweights and
You were there
welterweights,
for all of
Hagler,
them.
Hearns, Leonard Duran. Here for the rise of the UFC. I can go on and on. Greg Maddox, Andre Agassi's career, Randall Cunningham's career. I got to cover all of those things at a time that was real electric here in Las Vegas. And you didn't have ESPN to the degree you have it now and all the different cable channels. So that benefited me, I believe. And then it was just a matter of, from there, taking other things that I could do that would help further my career. And the fact that some people, well, I guess sort of because you're on TV, people trust you whether they should or not. And I mean that. I mean,
Yeah, and
you
you've done so much good for the community as well. And what would you like the viewers to know about you? Something that they don't know, something that Ron Futrell is when he is at home.
I'm a rabid left-handed person. Okay, no, I'm left-handed. It's all left-handed rights with me all the time.
Okay.
So, am I a minority because of that? Because I'm left?
No.
But I am though. There's only 1 of 8 people are left-handed in the country, so that's sort of a minority group.
1 of 8 people.
Only 1 out of 8. So I'm left-handed. So that's.
So do you work on your right or?
I can shoot a basketball with my right hand pretty well. I've had to, and I play the guitar right-handed, only because I could never find left-handed guitars as a kid. So, and that was a bit of a handicap, but I worked through that and around that. But yeah,
well, they say left-handed people are very smart and intelligent. So I thank you for being here, Ron.
That's our marketing firm that says that. That's the left-handed people's marketing firm. But thank you. I'm glad that's resonated.
Well, because I know that for a fact. But thank you for being here. This is such an amazing opportunity to
My
just sit
pleasure.
down with you in a different setting and just talk to you.
Good luck with this show.
Thank you
This is
so
great.
much.
My pleasure.
Thank you all for watching FYI. See you next time for more fun and inspiring stories. Remember, inspire. Be the change you wish to see. Find your voice and claim your space in the world. See you next time.